Good morning. Good morning. How are you? It is early on a Friday morning. I made a decision this morning that I was going to go live, especially since I picked up my devotional this morning and there was just something that just resonated with me this morning. So first of all, I'm Jocelyn McElderry. I'm the connection specialist. I help midlife women to connect and reconnect with their dreams so that they can go on and be the great that they've always been called to be. So I was doing my devotional. I have been doing this devotional 100 Days of Believing Bigger with the Black Nurse Entrepreneurs. Shout out for the Black Nurse Entrepreneurs. And it has really been good. It has been meaty. It has been interesting. It has been sometimes downright slap you in your face. Get it together. Good. So this morning, the devotional talks about indecision. So when I first read the heading, I was like, what in the world could that be? The very first line says, prayer is essential, but it can become another hideout. I was like, wait, how can that happen? It's an excuse not to make bigger, bolder decisions. Immediately, I thought of a friend of mine that anytime she asked her husband about doing something, he would say to her, well, let me pray about it. It didn't matter what it was, didn't matter. It just didn't matter. He would say, let me pray about it. So even a month or two later, he never came back and told her what God had said. That was just his way of stopping her from doing whatever it was if he didn't feel like it was something that was necessary. And every time, good morning, Albiana, right? Every time she wanted to do something, and most of the time it required money, he would always say, well, girl, wait, let me pray about it. But he would never come back and give her a decision. So I immediately thought of that. But I've also thought about the fact that there are many of us, that there are things that we are gifted to do, we are anointed to do, we're called to do, and we're purposed to do. But we will sit down and literally not do anything because we're praying about it. So Marshawn Evans Daniels hit me in the face and reminded me that that was an excuse that we use to keep from moving. One of the things that I know for sure is that God honors the fact that we're willing to take a step. He honors the fact that we're willing to jump out of the boat. I immediately went to Matthew 14 and 29, where Jesus is walking on the water. And he's telling them, you don't need to be afraid because I'm here. Good old Peter says, well, if that's you and you walking on that water, bid me come to walk on the water to you. And the Lord tells Peter, come. That's all he says. It's come. So now Peter climbs out of the boat and he starts to walk toward Jesus. But what he did was he took his eyes off of Jesus and thought about the winds and the waves that were going on around him. And it was at that time that he began to sink. And Jesus pretty much said, oh, so you doubt me? Too often, we won't get out of the boat because we're afraid we're going to sink instead of keeping our eyes on Jesus. Okay, that was for me. Didn't have to be for anybody else. And what Marshawn does is she literally talks about how we overthink, overpray, overprocess, overtalk. We do all these things instead of moving. instead of stepping up and out and moving, not realizing that God already knows what you're doing. He knew before the foundation of the earth and before you were placed in your mother's womb what it was that you were supposed to do. He just waiting on you to get the revelation. But instead, you got to think about it. You got to pray about it. You got to talk to 10 people about it. You got to ask your pastor. You got to talk to the first lady. All of these things instead of just putting your feet on the ground and moving. Indecision is a decision. Indecision is a decision not to make one. So we have to get to a place where we recognize that when God opens the door for us, no, you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. No, you're not sure about how you're going to handle whatever's on the other side. But know that God will show up for you. But you got to show up for you first. This thing this morning was super duper powerful because what we do is we over spiritualize everything. Okay, that wasn't for me. That was for me. That wasn't for anybody else. We will over spiritualize a thing and won't move, will not move. I'm waiting to hear what God has to say. Well, when he allowed whoever it was to offer you the opportunity, y'all don't think that might have been him moving? Or he might not have set that thing up just for you. Now it becomes a test of your faith, not God's. So, what is it that you're to be doing that you have overprayed, overthought, over conversed with everybody that you know? And you have to be mindful. Everybody doesn't understand your journey. So they're not going to always be able to say, girl, go ahead and do that. What they can say a lot of times is, girl, I wouldn't do that if I was you. My motto has become, but you not me. So we're going to go ahead on. Thank you anyway. Because if you don't ever do anything, how will you accomplish something? So let's stop overthinking, over spiritualizing, over praying, over. Let your prayer be, God, help me move in the right direction and help me to overcome the obstacles that are first in my mind. Because a lot of times it's our mind that keeps us from getting to where it is that we really need to be. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm good enough for this. I don't know. What am I supposed to do? The same way you pray and not move, pray for the next step and say, I'm going to get out of this boat and walk to Jesus. And he's going to say, come. But keep your eyes on him because he has great things in store for you. But if you don't ever make the decision to do something different, you're going to continue to get the same results. So what we going to do different? How are we going to do this thing just a little different? Because he's got a whole lot of great stuff. He got some spectacular for us on the horizon. But in order to get it, we're going to have to move. You cannot stay in the same place and move forward at the same time. That's like standing in line for popcorn at the movies. But when your turn comes up, you don't go up to the register and tell them what you need. Tell them what you need. But first preface it with, I'm moving because you've given me this opportunity. And I'm well able and I'm capable. So I'm going to make an informed decision about moving. I just wanted to share that with you this morning. It was just powerful for me. And I remembered my girlfriend, how she would get so frustrated with her husband because she would want to do something. And he said, let me pray about it. And then, of course, that was his way of saying, we ain't going to do that. Instead of him just saying, we're not going to do that. So let's not be frustrated. Let's not get frustrated. Let's not get upset. Let's not get our feelings hurt. Let's put some things in motion because he gave you this opportunity on purpose and for purpose. And he knew what you were going to be doing when you were placed in your mother's womb. So this is a part of the process. So don't be indecisive. Make a decision and move and watch God show up for you when you move. I think about when grandma used to say, if you'll take one step, he'll take two. You know, we were little, we didn't understand what that meant. But now it makes perfect sense to me. If I move, he's going to be with me. It's just a test of my faith to see if I'm willing to take the step. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.